Okay. Hi, Coach Spady. This is Mark Gray from HSRN. It's good to talk to you again. I wanted to follow up on one of the same things. Statement. You said that you're seeing signs of improvement, one step at a time. Where have you specifically gotten better since the start of the season?
We're practicing better. We're playing better special teams. We're going to class more frequently. Our midterm grades look a lot better. I mean, it's program wide, and that's what I'm looking for to mark progress.
And I know you went coming about seeing this event.
I didn't understand what you said.
How you been?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I know you were enthused about playing in an event. You've been in a number of different rivalries in your career. As you build up to this one, you had the bye week. Can you talk about the atmosphere, all those intangibles that go into a pretty I don't want to use the term heated because I know it's a passionate rivalry, shall we call it?
Okay. Very passionate. There's no doubt about that. And yes, I've been involved in a few rivalries in my career. But you know what? None that were any bigger than this one. This is the biggest rivalry game. This is the biggest classic game, not just in Black College, but at this level of football. And for us to be a part of that, myself specifically, what almost a dream come true. I don't mean to sound melodramatic, but that literally is the case for a guy who is a college football purist, and that's what I consider myself. I love the pageantry of college football. Everything that's college football is stimulating to me, and to be able to be a part of this, either as a player or as a coach, this is exactly why you do what you do. And an opportunity to go in and coach at one of the legendary stadiums in college football, an opportunity to go against a challenging opponent that's going to really challenge your skill set as a player and as a coach, you can't ask for something better than that. This is what stimulates you as a college football coach, as a college football player. And so we are just excited to get after it. The thing that I've got to do as the head coach of this football team is to make sure we're prepared, to make sure that we've gotten all the I's dotted and T's crossed, and we're able to compete because we owe it to our fan base. We owe it to our alumni. We owe it to the folks that believe in Bulldog football to make sure that we give our absolute best effort. And they just want to see us win the game, and we want to make them proud. So everything we've got to do has to point towards that.
All right, my last question then is, this is your first classic, and certainly for your senior class, they've been through it 3 times. Do they have a role in coaching you up about the classic this week and all that goes with it?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, that's a really great question because we talked about that. We talked about that yesterday, as a matter of fact. You guys have a responsibility to make sure I'm on point in terms of how, not just how important the game is. I realize that. I recognize how important it is. But just all the nuances that go into the game. I mean, tickets for your families and making sure you spend free time so that, practice modes, whether or not we're, rep counts at practice. All these things are important, and I need the feedback of our senior class. I need the feedback of our football team so that I can gauge exactly where we're supposed to be at what time. Because at the end of the day, on Saturday afternoon when we line up and play this football game, it's just a football game. And it's the classic and everything that goes with it is what those guys have to make sure I'm tuned into, and I expect them to be responsible in terms of letting me know that. And I'm gonna do everything I can to honor everything that's special about this football game, and they're important in terms of that, making sure I'm on the right track.
We're out of time. Thank you very much for joining us, Coach. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That's James Spady, head football coach at Alabama A&M. Again, his team faces Alabama State in the Magic City Classic. The game is in Birmingham, 2:30 kickoff on ESPN3. Next up on the call, we stay in Alabama, and we go now to Alabama State. Again, this team was also off on Week 8. They faced Alabama A&M, Magic City Classic, 2:30. We now talk things over with Alabama State head football coach Reggie Barlow. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could recap your bye week and preview the Magic City Classic.
Yeah, it was our bye week was basically used to get some rest. We were a battered team, a team that had played a bunch of tough games and had some guys that really need to heal up, and so it was an opportunity for us to get some guys rested. We did practice about 3 times, and obviously introduced A&M to our guys and watch film and all that stuff. But it's just an opportunity for us to get healed up. And now with this week, the preparation will continue for Alabama A&M the rest of this week. Obviously, it's a huge game. It's a game that a bunch of our fans and their fans are all looking forward to every year. Last Saturday in October, so should be fun. Should be a fun game to be a part of.
All right, the floor is now open for Alabama State head coach Reggie Barlow.
Coach Barlow, good morning to you. Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Good morning.
Hey, Coach, the last few years you've coached this game against Anthony Jones, and now with the new coach, Spady, does the philosophy of how you attack Alabama A&M or anything about the game change with the change of a head coach?
Obviously, they have different philosophy than what Coach Jones had, and really in offense and defensively. So, you have to make those type of adjustments and see what you can do offensively that will be able to overcome what they're doing on defense. And then, they have a different scheme than what Coach Jones had when he was there. There's still split zone and that type of stuff that just about everybody's running. But for the most part, yeah, you have to make the adjustment on what that team is doing as opposed to the Anthony Jones coach teams.
Coach, the past 2 weeks you had setbacks. So during your bye week, how much did you work on things that were not happening for your team during the two-game losing streak?
Yeah, we talked to our guys. We eulogize the first half of our season and decided not to even talk about it. We made changes and personnel. We've made changes in some of the things that we had been doing, and it's just about ongoing skill development. It's about putting our guys in the right place to play with confidence, to play fast, and to allow them to have success. So we've made those adjustments. Our student athletes have bought into the vision and the philosophy of what we're trying to do going forward, and we're just looking forward to getting back on the practice field and getting ready to play in this great game.
And final question for me, Coach. You've always talked about in the past how this game brings about one player who always does something to make his team win and to stand out. Have you spoken to them about what happens with this game? It's sort of a legacy of this Magic City Classic.
Yeah, since I've been a part of it as a player and a coach, there's always been, one guy on either team that is, come from out of nowhere, and that person is known from forever because of his performance or lack thereof. It goes the other way as well. But we've spoke with them briefly about, the importance of it in this game, but I haven't gotten all the way in detail in the whole presentation of, a star is going to be born in this game and all that stuff, which we'll start doing that this week.
Hey, Coach, this is Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Why do you think if somebody's been around the SWAC for a little while, the SWAC was one passing league, putting up huge numbers in the passing game. Why do you think, or when do you think the change occurred that the conference became more of kind of a run-the-ball, play-tough defense league as opposed to a passing league?
I think personnel often dictates that, although we still have a lot of really, really good quarterbacks and receivers in this league. But if you think back to Cedric Nord and even before him, Willie Totten and Doug Williams and Steve McNair and Ricky John. I mean, those were guys that, they could wing it, and you had great receivers. So that was just kind of like the label that was thrown on the SWAC, that if you got a cornerback from the SWAC, you knew he could play man coverage because that's all they did, and if you got receivers, they would be polished and all that stuff. But I think with the transition of coaches that came from other conferences, that had been coaching at other places, they brought their philosophies, and numbers show if you can run it and not turn it over, that you have a real big chance of winning games and establishing the run and being able to do that. So I just think that's just the transition of the league. But I mean, there's still some teams in this conference that can throw it around, when need to.
You even, since you've been at Alabama State, you've had some guys with some prolific philosophy change, or is it dictated by personnel?
I mean, I just think it's personnel. I think we've been blessed. We've had, when Tavares was here, I mean, we threw the ball around, had some real good receivers, but we also had great running back, Keldrick Williams, that could run the ball well. Even now, I mean, if we wanted to just say, okay, we're just going to throw it around, I mean, I like our receivers. I think DeMario Bell he'll break all the records here by the time he's done, and we have a handful of other guys that I think, can run routes and catch the ball, and Duhart could throw it, but it's just, I mean, it's so hard if you're saying, okay, you're just going to throw it, and then you get 3 and outs, and now you're tiring out your defense. So,
right.
I mean, it just makes more sense to be balanced or be as balanced as possible. But, I mean, I think personnel probably on every team, guys have guys that they feel like, we can throw it around and have a lot of success. But at the end of the day, you gotta be able to run the ball and protect it.
And Coach, with Alcorn State getting the loss as they did to Grambling, how do you and what do you say to your team now about the chances of your guys getting to a championship game? I mean, obviously need some help since you lost. Well, I'm sorry, you haven't lost to them yet. But what's your attitude about the race as it stands now?
He said, I haven't lost to them yet. You predicting the future.
No, not.
That was pretty good. Like that was a pretty good one there, man. But we're keeping the main thing, and we had our chance to play against Alcorn. We didn't win. So sometimes in life you get what you deserve, and our focus now is Alabama A&M, and we'll continue to prepare for them, and and just keep the main thing, and that's them. That's having a great game plan and a great week of practice, going up and playing in a big time game, and all that other stuff. It'll work itself out.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Coach, how healthy are your running backs? I mean, last couple of years, certainly with Crowell, he was coming in, he was nursing, an ankle or some malady. Are your guys as close to 100% as a team midway through the season, coming off a bye week can be?
Yeah, our running backs are actually in pretty good shape considering Malcolm, he's run the ball a bunch for us the first half of the season, but he's a tough guy, and he's feeling good. And then Khalid Thomas, a young man who we bring in as a change of pace type of deal, he's in good health, and our other 2 running backs, Jahad Coleman and Andre Kensey. Those guys are all in good shape, and they're excited about the opportunity to play on Saturday.
Do you envision this being a, physical matchup? I mean, one of those things that's defined by your ability to dominate at the point of attack, or as I've seen in the past with this game, it comes down to a couple of big plays in the passing game, which kind of personify what Mr. Williams was talking about as it relates to the past aerial attack that defined the conference.
Yeah, I mean the game, regardless of the score, it's going to be won at the line of scrimmage. I mean, you got to be physical. You got to control or stop the run on defense, and that's where it's going to be wanted. I mean, like you mentioned, there's always been one or two big plays in this game, or an opportunity to make one or two big plays that will put your team in a position to have success or win. But the line of scrimmage and controlling the line of scrimmage is where it will be won. They have a big offensive line that's been doing a good job for them, and they protect the passer good. Their quarterback is a pretty good quarterback. He can run around a little bit, make all the throws, and they have Smith, the receiver, who's explosive. So, and then the running backs. They got a couple young running backs that I think are really good and explosive. So we have to control the line of scrimmage and prevent them from making those big plays. And it'll be a tall task, but we got 4 days to get ready for it, and we'll try and do that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time, Coach. We appreciate it, and we wish you well this week.
All right. Thanks.
That's Reggie Barlow, head coach at Alabama State. Again, his team faces Alabama A&M in the Magic City Classic. The kickoff is set for 2:30 on ESPN 3. Next up on the call, we go to Jackson State University. They had a bye week in Week 8. This week they will host Southern University. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. Good morning, Coach Jackson.
Good morning. How you doing?
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could recap your bye week and preview Southern University.
Well, I'll tell you, this bye week really came up right on time for us, because we got some young men that need to get a little bit healthy, and the team was pretty much tired. They need that break, and we came right at midterm week also. Last week was midterm for them, and so that was a good break for us. Like I said, we are trying to get some guys healthy on the offensive line and also on the defensive line. That's where we having our problems, and if we can solidify those positions, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. We got one young man we're probably going to lose for the rest of the year on the offensive line. So we just got to put pieces together and hope we can manage it and hope we can come out on top of this thing. We're getting ready to play a very good football team, Southern. Southern was SWAC champs last year, and they beat Jackson State in the SWAC championship game last year. And coming in here with probably one of the best defensive lines in the SWAC. And they run that 4-2, and they sometimes go 3-2, 3-3. And we just got to get up front. We just got to try to maintain as much as we can to protect the quarterback with that defensive line that we're going to face. And he also has a great offensive line also. He does a great job running the ball. So what we got to do, we just got to try to really get up there and try to stop some of that running game, and got a quarterback that throws the ball pretty good also. So we just got to do what we have to do to try to maintain this football game. Like I said, they coming in here, and like I said, they probably coming in here with the best defensive line that we're going to face this year. So we just got to try to get ready to go because they got some guys that roam around that defensive line pretty good. So we just got to try to maintain that front and protect our quarterback as much as possible.
And the floor is now open for Jackson State head football coach Harold Jackson. Coach, of course, this is a rematch from last year's SWAC football championship. Any talks from returning players that played in that game a year ago about anticipating this game?
Well, we had some guys that played in it, probably not that many guys that played in the SWAC championship game, but some guys that was on the football team, so hadn't heard too much about it, like I said, they were disappointed that ball game, something that happened in the ball game that they thought that they should have played a little bit better in it, but unfortunately it didn't happen that way, and they're looking at 2 years in a row that they was in the SWAC championship, and they lost both games. So they're very disappointed with that. They was looking forward to it, try to get a chance to get a ring in this year. Like they still got a chance. We still hanging in there pretty good, so we just got to win out from here on in.
Coach Jackson, this is James Verrett from CST in Louisiana. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing great. I want to talk to you about the history of this rivalry. Was the fan presence and the level of intensity the same now as it was when you played between Southern and Jackson State?
Well, I think Jackson State and Southern always have had a great fan base. Wherever we went, we had a big fan, following us, and Southern had the same thing. I think now it's a little bit different because the people travel a little bit different the way they travel. For as the big mobile homes, I think back there during the time when I was playing, nobody could afford a mobile home. Excuse me, nobody could afford a mobile home, but now they have mobile homes and they travel like on a Wednesday and Thursday almost. Start getting where they want to go. They have a hotel on wheels, so it's a little bit different compared to back there during the days when I was playing. But I tell you what, it was one big rival football games when we played. I don't know, the last time we played Southern when I was playing, they had one of the biggest fights after the game, so you might win the game but might not win the fight.
Coach Ross with the Clarion Ledger. Hey, Coach Ross with the Clarion Ledger. I'm just curious, how did you guys utilize the bye week? Did you practice, or did you give the guys off Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Well, what happened is that we practiced Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we had that week that Thursday and Friday the coaches went out for the recruiting. So we went out recruiting Thursday and Friday, which was a real big couple of days for the coaches to get out, try to get a feel on some of these guys. Because, like I said, we're really trying to get our offense and our defensive lines. We really got to do some recruiting there because, like I said, we have pretty good depth. Pretty good players there, but we just got to get a few more players there for us depth-wise. Because since I've been here, that's been one of my pet peeve was the offensive line and the defensive line for us depth-wise. Like I said, you can wear those two positions down if you don't watch it. So we just got to really try to get that solidified. And so the players had Thursday and Friday because it was in midterm last week, so it was a good time to have that break. So they had a chance to do that. And so what we're doing, what they done yesterday on Sunday, they had study hall. Usually they have study hall like on a Monday. So now they had study hall Sunday, and so now we can practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
How are you guys trying to, what's the mood of the guys and even the coaches coming off the last two losses for you guys and approaching this game against Southern?
Well, the attitude is pretty good so far, because we went out and practiced Tuesday and Wednesday last week, and we went out pretty much in shells, so the guy was pretty much fresh. They was running around like we just started the season, because they was very fresh because they had a couple of days to kind of relax and kind of get the legs back up on them, so I think coming in today, I think they're going to be even fresher because they had a little bit more time, although a lot of these guys had midterm. Well, they had midterm last week, so that kind of kept them busy there in trying to get those tests and classing out the way, but we should be in pretty good shape coming back in. We just got to make sure once we get there, the coaches get in the game plan, and the kids go out and just execute what the coach is trying to teach them.
Do you have any more questions for Harold Jackson, head coach at Jackson State University? Coach, you talked a little bit about the quarterback there at Southern. He's a freshman. Again, what are your thoughts so far on the play this season from him?
Well, I tell you what, it's what we're seeing on tape-wise. Like I say, he's pretty good. We just got to try to do what we can to corral him, make sure he don't get outside the pocket on him. That's the thing that we have ran up against this year. Like every team that we've played so far had great quarterbacks, and they have those quarterbacks, those athlete quarterbacks that can really pull the ball down and run on you. So we got to make sure we keep him in the pocket, keep him behind the line, because if you don't, he'll pull that ball down. He'll beat you. So we got to do what we have to do to try to maintain him, try to corral him.
Thank you very much, Coach. We appreciate your time. We wish you well this week.
Thank you very much.
That's Darrell Jackson, head coach at Jackson State University. Again, his team was off in Week 8, and they will host Southern University. The kickoff is set for 6 p.m. Next up is Arkansas Pine Bluff head coach Monte Coleman. His team fell to Grambling State this past weekend. They are at Texas Southern Saturday for a kickoff that starts at 2 p.m. Good morning, Coach Coleman. How are you?
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could recap Grambling State and preview your road trip to Houston this weekend.
Well, tough game down in Grambling this past weekend. Their homecoming, they came out and they played well. I thought our team started off extremely well against them. We were able to move the football some against them offensively. We got a couple of stops early on, some 3-and-outs early on against their offense. We had turnovers. We had sacks against us. They had a defensive touchdown against us, and we're playing like a young football team, which we are. We did some good things in this particular ball game. Ben Anderson rushed for over 100 yards. We had a couple of guys that caught footballs. I think we finished with receiving 467 yards total receiving. We had 570 total offensive yards from the offense, but we weren't able to stop them from the defensive standpoint. Guys are playing hard, making too many mistakes, but we are playing hard, and we'll continue to play hard the remaining of this season. We are getting ready to go down to play Texas Southern this weekend. It's their homecoming also, and we'll start preparing for them today.
All right, the floor is now open for Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Hey, Coach, I see at the commercial. How you doing?
Good, I see.
Let's talk about the confidence factor, because I'm pretty sure you guys still had a lot of confidence after just being down 28-18 at halftime. It seemed like just the 3 big plays, or maybe there were some busted coverages and then the fumble return. But soon after they scored that first touchdown in the second half, did the confidence level just go down for you guys?
I don't think the confidence level I see went down. These kids, they're fighters. They are fighters. They're playing hard. It's unfortunate for us right now. We've got a lot of young guys that's playing, some that's never played in the SWAC, and they're getting a fresh eye-opener of how good SWAC football really is. We continually every week give up big plays, and that's what we did, not taking anything from Grambling's game plan. They played well, but, it would have been a little more challenging if we would have just played the huddle call and see how it would have fared out. The thing that we pride ourselves on is trying not to turn the football over. We had too many turnovers. And like I said, one of the fumbles was for a touchdown for them on defense. So some of the mistakes that we're making, if we can clean those things up with a young football team, then I think we'll be all right. But as far as the confidence level, the thing that I told them at halftime and the thing that I will tell them again today is, we've got to take care of our business. We've got to do the things that we do well and work on the things that we're not doing well. But as far as the confidence factor, I don't think the kids got down on themselves or went into the tank.
All right. Seeing as how you have a lot of young guys and a lot of them have returned from 2012 to the team this year, and granted, you guys still have 4 or 5 games left, but even if you go, win the rest of your games and finish 6-5, how does the use of the ball club this year affect your recruiting? Are you going to go out and try to get more junior college talent, or?
Well, that's always a part of our strategy. I heard Coach Harold Jackson, speaking a minute ago. He's talking about offensive linemen and defensive linemen. Those are premiums for us every year in our recruiting, and that's one of the things that we will be looking for. this year. But to say specifically that we're going to look for junior college kids, we look for junior college kids every year, somebody that can give us an instant impact. We'll look for mid-year guys, being junior college or transfer, so we can get them so they can go through spring ball and winter conditioning with us. So that part of the strategy hadn't changed. We'll continue to recruit mid-year guys that can go through with us, and also guys that can come in during the fall and give us instant impact.
Right. Just in comparison to other seasons that you've had, last year you went 2-9. Just can you break down what's been really challenging about this year in particular in comparison to last year?
The big plays. I think the coaches have done an outstanding job getting us in position to win football games. Unfortunately, because of the youth, we're breaking down on assignments. In one game, we have a field goal block for a touchdown. Next game, we have a kickoff return run in for a touchdown. In each of those games, we've had busted coverages in the secondary for long touchdown passes. So it's just assignment. Those are the things that are frustrating during your growing pains with a young football team. But I admire the team that they're hustling. They are doing some good things. And the thing that we've got to do is just pick up on some of the bad things that we're doing and try to perfect those.
All right. Thank you.
We have not given up, IC. We have not given up. We won't give up. We've got 5 games left, and we still have an opportunity to have a winning season. So that's what we're shooting for, is a winning season. So we know we're playing a tough Texas Southern team this week. It's their homecoming. They've got a lot of incentive that's going to be riding. The thing that we've got to do is just go down and play our type of football, and we'll see where the chips fall.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach Coleman, Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page.
Hey, Luke.
What is it about this Grambling team that's got them on? What are they doing? What are they showing you different? Did they show you that they could put 63 points on your team? What is it? Is Coach Fobbs had that much of a difference after a team that struggled like that for 2 years?
I think Coach Fobbs has done an outstanding job with the team that's, quoting you, Luke, that struggled for 2 years. He's got those guys believing in themselves. They're playing total team-type football, which that's what we want as coaches. I watched them. They celebrated together. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now, and that's what you want your team to do, is play with that type of confidence. And it didn't matter how far down they would have been or how far ahead. They were playing their game, and they wasn't worried about what we were doing. They were going to play their game, and that's what he's got them doing. He's got them playing total team football from my perspective.
Well, follow up to that is I'm thinking about doing a piece about there are a lot of new coaches who have come in, not just in your conference, but in other conferences, other black college conferences that I cover, and a lot of them have turned around their teams. And I know from the time that you came in, is it usually players listening to another voice, so to speak, or hearing it from another perspective, so to speak, or is it the fact that, and I think Coach Fobbs even said that he knew there was talent there at Grambling, probably more than most people thought. But what is it about these guys that are able to come in and turn around a team like that? Is that easier to do, or is it harder to do once you've been there a while and you got your own people, so to speak? Just your feeling about that.
I don't think it's hard because you've been there for a while. It's all a matter of having the right personnel, and I agree with Coach Fobbs. They've had talent there regardless of their last 2 season outcomes. They've had talent and always will have talent because of their history. They'll be able to get guys because of their history. Coach Fobbs has just come in and sold them a different philosophy maybe. I don't know. But just from my perspective, they've bought into what he's selling or what he's coaching, and the guys are responding to it, and that's what you want. I had looked to see how many veterans he's got on his team, but I bet you he's a veteran football team, and that always helps when you've got a veteran football team.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Coach, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Do you have any more questions for Monte Coleman, the head football coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff? Thank you very much for your time, Coach. We look forward to talking with you next Monday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. That's Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Again, this team fell to Grambling this past week. They'll travel to Houston to face Texas Southern Saturday, and the kickoff is set for 2 p.m.
Well, fine, man. How are you?
Next up, we go to Grambling State University. And again, this team defeated Arkansas Pine Bluff. They have a bye week here in Week 9. We say good morning to Grambling State head coach Broadrick Fobbs. Good morning, Coach Fobbs.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good, Coach. Thanks for joining us. If you could, give us a recap of your victory over Arkansas Pine Bluff and give us a preview of what you guys plan to do in your idle week.
Well, I tell you, I thought we started off rather flat, but I think a lot of that had to do with Arkansas Pine Bluff. They're a heck of a football team and well coached also as well. But I thought we did a good job of responding in the second and third quarters. We were able to put up 21 and 28 points in those quarters. And I thought offensively, the big plays really did help us. I didn't think we did a good job of really moving the ball down the field. We had a couple of good drives here and there, but we had several big plays that actually helped us. The score really didn't indicate, how good of a game it actually was. They had a couple of turnovers which actually helped us get in the end zone a little bit quicker. But I thought they have a heck of a football program, a really exceptional quarterback, and just a really good football team. I don't think their record really indicates, how good of a football team they are. I just thought that, they made a couple mistakes, and those mistakes actually helped us, to really be victorious.
And the floor is now open for Grambling State head coach Broadrick Fobbs.
Coach Fobbs, Lute Williams from the Black College Sports. Coach Fobbs?
Yes.
Good morning. Lute Williams from the Black College Sports Page. How are you this morning?
How you doing, Mr. Williams?
Doing fine. Listen, and I said this to Coach Coleman. I'm working on a piece about new coaches because you're one of several in the Black College ranks that have kind of turned around programs. He talked about your team playing with confidence and celebrating together and that kind of thing. How much of that have you been able to get in terms of your team playing as a team, and what's been the key to being able to do that?
Well, back in January, we focused on playing this football game, and I say it every week from the inside out. We play with our heart, we play with passion, and then we use our brain, and we try to make sure we execute. There's a lot of athletic ability that goes with being successful on the football field, but we just choose here at Grambling State University to play the game starting from the inside out. And our kids are doing an exceptional job of really buying into the plan. They're trusting our coaching staff, and our coaches are really doing a good job of putting a plan together. But a lot of things have actually gone our way, and we've done a better job of protecting the football, and then also, really playing good run defense. So I'm excited about the direction in which we're going. By no means are we where we want to be. I still feel we have to play with better juice and play faster and play harder. In certain situations we are, but I want to be the type of football team that plays that way all the time.
There was players were upset with the conditions last year that led to a lot of the problems and the things that got a lot of national attention. How did you address that? How did you confront that whole situation from the time you took over?
Well, that was 2013, and we don't really care to talk about 2013. For us, it started January of 2014, and the focus has been us. It's been love. It's been being a family. It's been playing together, and it's been just trying to do what we can in order to be successful. A lot of people, they want to talk about, what happened in the past. But I think more importantly, not only are we fortunate on the football field, but all of our kids have been going to class. We've had 100% participation, and then all of our kids are going to study hall. And to me, that's more of a success than any run that we're actually on.
Gotcha. Now, if you would, talk about the play and the development of your quarterback, Jonathan Williams.
Well, all along we've always said that Jonathan is not a typical third-string quarterback. He started some games here at Grambling State University, and all three guys basically put us in a unique situation of having the ability to play any one of them. The thing that's different is, when you're in a scrimmage-type situation, it doesn't work out in Jonathan Williams' favor because most times you don't want to hit the quarterback. So what he does well, we actually took that from him in scrimmages. So there were times in scrimmages where he didn't necessarily look as good as the other two guys. But, like we said, when the lights come on, which is the most important thing, he plays well. So it was hard to kind of evaluate him. But, once he got under the lights, and he got the opportunity, he's been doing a great job for us.
Was this perhaps 19 or 27 for 377, 3 TDs, no interceptions, as well as 52 yards rushing with two TDs? Was this his best game or Alcorn State, or have you been able to determine whether this was maybe an optimum game for him?
Well, I think it was a really good game for him. I thought he made better decisions this week than he did the week prior to. But there are times where he does a lot better job in the running game, and then there are times like this past week where he does a really good job in the passing game. So the thing is, though, he's been doing both pretty well, and we're just happy for him because he's an even better person than he is a football player. Like I said in the beginning, when he wasn't playing, he was always making sure that the other two quarterbacks had what they needed in order to be successful. So I'm just happy that things are working out for him. And as coaches, we always want our kids and stress for our kids to do the right thing, but sometimes they don't see the benefits of actually doing things right. And I'm just glad that this senior class and these kids are actually getting an opportunity to experience a little bit of success from them doing things the right way. And we just want to make sure that we continue to put good days together and make sure we're doing everything the right way.
And this is my last question, Coach, just very quickly. Your team is not in the top half of most of the team stats, and you have no individuals really in the top half, and sometimes not even in the individual stats. So it's got to be some intangibles. To go back to what you said originally about the concept that your team is bought into?
Well, I think some of those stats are screwed because, there have been times where we've looked at various video and our numbers are not actually equaling up with some of the numbers that have actually been sent in, from different offices. But really and truly, the main stat that really matters is, points on the board and lack thereof of the opponents. That's the most important thing. And the intangibles, I think that's important as well because, our kids, they really are close and they play for each other. And when you're close and you're all going in the same direction, it gives you a chance. That's all you can ask for as a football coach is a chance.
Thanks, Coach. Continue. Good luck.
Thank you.
Do you have any more questions for Grambling State head coach Broadrick Fobbs?
Coach Fobbs, I see Morrell, Pine Bluff Commercial. Jonathan went 5 for 18 in the first half, but, had those big plays to get you guys some points, and then he finished 18 for 27. Was it just his decision-making that he improved on in the second half?
Well, I think you can't take any credit from Arkansas Pine Bluff. I thought they did a really good job, mixing up, with the zone and playing man, and trying to confuse us a little bit. But I think it took a little time for Jonathan to settle down, and then once he settled down, and then also getting in a rhythm too. They kept the ball the entire first half, and when you don't have many shots, at it, you kind of stand over there and get cold. So they had a great game plan and they did a great job. But we just made some plays, and when you make some plays and also gets a couple of turnovers, that does help.
You visit every day, right? Next week. Oh, next week you play. Okay. You playing in the tournament, though, right?
Please remember to use the command *6 to mute and unmute your phone. This will avoid hearing others in conversation.
Thanks.
Coach Fobbs, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. That's Broadrick Fobbs, head coach at Grambling State University. His team defeated Arkansas Pine Bluff, and they are idle in Week 9. Next up on the call, we go to Alcorn State. This team defeated Texas Southern this past weekend, and it's back to the state of Texas. This time they will play at Prairie A&M for a 1 p.m. kickoff. We say good morning to Alcorn State head coach Jay Hopson.
Good morning.
Good morning, Coach. Thanks for joining us. Give us a recap of your victory over Texas Southern and preview your road trip this time to Prairie A&M.
It was a good win. I thought we came out early in the first half and really played really well on both sides of the ball. We had an opportunity later in the late third, early fourth. We got some young guys in, which is always good. But I thought we handled situations pretty well on both sides, and so was really pleased with our execution. So hopefully we can continue.
All right, floor is now open for Jay Hopson, head coach at Alcorn State. Coach, 26 points in the second quarter. It seems like when you guys really caught your stride there. Recap that quarter for us, if you could.
Well, I thought John and I thought did a great job of with his reads and progressions. They gave us a lot of pressure in the first and second quarter. I thought he did a great job of handling it, and we were able to put up 40 in the first half, so that was always a positive. And but just really pleased. I thought we threw the ball well. I thought we ran the ball well. So I mean that's always a good combination.
Comparatively, you just talked about John Gibbs. He was 15 to 26, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns. Comparatively, where does this game stack among the other ones that he's played so far this season?
I thought he was, again, for a half, we let the Norse come in late in the third, but I thought he played really well. And I don't know where it actually stacks, but I thought he played really well. I thought he had a good week. I had a feeling he was going to have a real good week because I could tell he had a good week of practice, and he was really sharp on Saturday.
We're still taking questions for Alcorn State head coach Jay Hopson. Remember to use the command *6 to unmute your phones.
Coach Hopson, Luke Williams from the Black Collar Sports Page. How are you?
Hey, Luke. How you doing?
Okay, coming off that loss to Grambling, how you think your team responded?
I was proud of them. I really was. I thought that's always a good sign when you come off a heartbreaking loss and to get back up and get ready to go. It's kind of like that old saying in football: "Don't let a game beat you twice." And I thought our guys answered the bell. We came out Monday and had a really good practice and really practiced well all week. So I was proud of that, and I thought they came out really in the first half and played really, really good.
I thought, and I think most people thought, your team was on a roll after the way that you handled Alabama State. And I know it's looking back a little bit, but do you think you had somewhat of a letdown against Grambling? Maybe the fact that they had not been successful the past couple of years, maybe the guys took them a little lightly. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I give Grambling all the credit, and Coach Fobbs and their staff have done a great job. They won the game. I mean, we had our chances to win, but we didn't take advantage of it. So, I mean, it is what it is. And usually, and I thought, I just thought it was a good, hard-fought game. I thought, they deserve to win. They stopped us on the 2-yard line. You know what I'm saying? They caused, we missed a field goal. They made stops and did things when they had to that you have to give the other team credit too. They made plays and we have to, and it was, certainly we weren't just ecstatic about the way we played, but then again, you know what I'm saying, we didn't do what we needed to do to win, and they did. So, you give them credit for the big win, and I was just proud of our guys this week bouncing back.
Obviously, you returned Alcorn State to prominence in the sense that they hadn't won in quite some time, headed to Prairie View.
One more time, it kind of broke off. It kind of broke off on the question.
I'm sorry, headed into Prairie View. The fact that you are still at the top of the East Division rankings. What is the attitude of the team headed into Prairie View?
Well, we try to, and I try to preach this, take it one game at a time and try to, to not look at that as much as we can, because we know football is a game. Each week's a different week and a different opponent. We got to get ready. And all that stuff will take care of itself at the end, and we just have to be ready for a good Prairie View team, and that's what it's all about. All our focus is on Prairie View right now.
We have about 3 minutes left in the segment with Jay Hopson of Alcorn State. Free to ask questions.
So nobody else, Coach, I'll ask again.
Okay.
Rolling up 40 points in the first half, do you think that you got back to the kind of production minus the mistakes and whatnot that you may have suffered during that loss?
We were pretty. I was pleased with the first half. I really was. I thought we were executing on a good level, and that's and certainly we didn't do that the week before, and so hopefully I'm saying we'll continue to build from this game. That's what you always hope as a coach, and continue to execute at a high level.
I see that Ragsdale was not in the stats. What happened there? Was he banged up?
Yeah, he's banged up, so we're just checking week to week, and we don't really talk about injuries either. We'll just check and see what he's got going.
Okay.
Do you have any more questions for Jay Hopson, head coach at Alcorn State? Coach, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That's Jay Hopson, head coach at Alcorn State. Again, his team defeated Texas Southern. They will travel to Prairie View A&M to kick off a set for 1 p.m. Next up, we go to Mississippi Valley State, and his team was defeated by Prairie View A&M. They have a bye week here in Week 9. We'll talk things over with Mississippi Valley State head coach Rick Comegy. Good morning, Coach Comegy. Okay, we're about 2 minutes early for Coach Comegy, so while we await his arrival, we will run down the current standings. As of today, in the Eastern Division, it goes as follows. Alcorn State is 6-2 overall, and they are 4-1. And the top-ranked team in the Eastern Division, followed by Alabama State, who is 4-3 and 3-2. Jackson State is 3-4 and 1-3. They're third, followed by Alabama A&M and fourth. They're 2-5 and 1-3 in the conference. And Mississippi Valley State rounds out the Eastern Division. They are 2-6 and 1-5 in conference play. In the Western Division, it is Grambling State. They're 5-3 overall and 5-0 in conference play, followed by second place Southern University. They're 4-3 overall, 3-1 in the league. Texas Southern third, 5-2, 3-2 in conference play. With fourth place going to Prairie View A&M. They're 3-4 overall, 3-3 in the conference. And the Western Division standings are rounded out by Arkansas and Pine Bluff. They're 1-5 overall, 0-4 in the conference. All right, well, we'll get back to the call now and talk things over with Rick Comegy, head football coach at Mississippi Valley State. Good morning, Coach Comegy. And if you are with us, please remember to use the command *6 to unmute your phone. All right, we're still awaiting the arrival for Coach Comegy. So for those of you that joined us late on the call, we will recap the Southwestern Athletic Conference Football Players of the Week. So please stand by while we track down Coach Comegy. The Offensive Player of the Week is Ben Anderson, quarterback at Arkansas Pine Bluff. He passed for a career-high 467 yards, completed 27 of his 50 passing attempts with 2 touchdowns. He also ran for another 66 yards on 28 carries. He accounted for 4 of Arkansas Pine Bluff's 5 touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, the Southwestern Athletic Conference Player of the Week goes to Jairus Moore from Texas Southern. He had a total of 13 tackles, including 2 tackles for a loss and 2 pass breakups. That's Jairus Moore from Texas Southern, linebacker, Defensive Player of the Week. The newcomer of the week went to Alcorn State, Jamil Cooks. His defensive end had a total of 6 tackles. 4 of those were solos, 3.5 tackles for a loss. He also racked up 3.5 sacks and 1 quarterback hurry on the afternoon. That's Jamil Cooks, Alcorn State, defensive end. The specialist of the week goes to Prairie View A&M's Jonte Haybear from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. He returned the opening kickoff 95 yards for a touchdown and also had a 53-yard return. He averaged 74 yards per kick return Saturday. Those are your Southwestern Athletic Conference Football Players of the Week for Week 9. And let's see, do we have Rick Comegy on the call yet for Mississippi Valley State? We'll see if we can go ahead for one, Coach. Has Heishma Northern dialed in yet from Prairie View A&M?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we will go ahead. We will skip over Coach Comegy. Thanks for joining us, Coach Northern. Just to give a recap real quick. Coach Northern's team defeated Mississippi Valley State, and they will host Alcorn State at 1 p.m. this coming Saturday. Coach Northern, thanks for joining us this week. If you could, give us a recap of your victory over Valley and preview Alcorn State.
Well, we got off to a pretty good start. Had a few turnovers. As you just mentioned, Jonte Haybear was named Specialist of the Week. Started off the game real good. And anytime you can get a good start on the road, particularly someone else's homecoming, coming off a big victory that they had, I thought that gave us a little bit of a boost. And then we played pretty good defensively. Got a few turnovers, whether it was an interception or a forced fumble. Controlled field position, had a few big plays early, and I think we rode that emotion pretty good until halftime. Coming out in the second half, I didn't think we played particularly well. Our starters are our second team guys that got a chance to play. So I told them, be happy with the fact that we won a ball game, but no way can we be satisfied with the total effort or lack of concentration throughout the second half. So we'll get back to the drawing board and clean that up. We have a big game here coming up. Alcorn coming to town. It's the last game. That'll be played in Blackshear Stadium as we know it. And we know we have a lot of small things to do correctly if we want to come out victorious at the end of the day this weekend.
The floor is now open for Prairie View A&M head coach Heishma Northern. Coach, considering the start, describe the feeling for the guys in the locker room to reel off your last 3 in a row.
Well, the biggest thing that we talk about, we don't talk about streaks. We just talk about winning 1 in a row. And we just talk about how do you change 4 losses in a row when you lose a couple of them, maybe one play here, one play there. the biggest thing that we talk about is everyone making everyone else better. And guys have been doing that. So some of those runs that were going for 2 to 5 yards, now we're breaking them because we're getting better blocking from our offensive line. We're getting better blocking from our receivers. Receivers are making some tough catches, making the routine catches that we were maybe dropping in some early games. So we're really not concerned or talking about the street. We're just talking about how can you as a football player make it someone else better, and then if we make each other better, then we'll all be better off in terms of some of the way the stats are showing up or the fact that we're winning some football games. So we haven't done anything schematically very different. We changed our practice schedule. I think I mentioned that before. But the biggest thing, sometimes it's just on those guys to make up in their mind. You sort of get tired of losing. And that happens. And guys are looking at the film and saying, to themselves or, even out loud that, hey, man, what's happening with us is not on our coaches. They're not dropping passes or missing tackles. And that's on us to correct as players. So guys are getting more work in on off days when they don't have to. And it's paying dividends for those young men. Like I say, it's more about those young men being happy and being better football players than it is about the coaches. So a lot of times they simply have to make up in their mind what they want to achieve. So things have been going good for us, but we know we got a tough opponent, so we have to be more detail-oriented than we have been lately, and in particular how we were in the second half of last week's ball game.
Floor still open for Heishma Northern head coach at Prairie View A&M. Big day coach out of Greg Thurman and Jonte Hebert collectively. Talk about the play of those two guys.
Well, I think they did what we expected them to do. I think Greg, and I didn't even realize it until we do helmet decals that he was first or second in the conference in terms of receptions per game. But didn't have a lot of yards. And fortunately for us, he made a couple big plays, caught a short pass, and turned it into a long one. Had a pass that was sort of thrown up for grabs, and he comes down with it. And that's what we expect him to do. And we say just make the plays that we expect you to do. If you do something beyond that, then we'll be happy for it. But like I say, just do what we expect you to do. Make the routine catch. Do a good job in the block. And he's done that. Jonte, like I say, what more can you say about that young man? Losing Courtney Brown, taking a more active role in the running game, increased load, but it hadn't diminished the output with the increased load. So we're happy for him being named Specialist of the Week, and that's what I talk to our players about. I think we have some good football players, but without those other 10 guys that are blocking for him, making him better, they made him a better football player. Yes, he has some natural talent. Yes, I think we do a good job scheme-wise, but those other guys are now making everyone else better around him. And you can see the last couple of weeks we've had a conference player of the week, and that's big for our program when you're struggling a little bit. That's big. Now we can take some of the negatives that have been coming our way and turn them into positives. But like I say, it goes back to those young men wanting to make each other better. And, the coaches, I think we do a good job of scheming things up. But at the end of the day, it goes back to those young men wanting to achieve and wanting to make other guys around them better, and not let that one block that we've been missing, not let that be the cause of a guy getting a 20-yard return that he can turn to a 70-yard return with that one block that's being missed. So, everyone else is helping out.
Do you have any more questions for Heishma Northern head coach at Prairie View A&M? Coach, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you. That's Heishma Northern. His team defeated Mississippi Valley this past week. They will host Alcorn State, and the kickoff is set for 1 p.m. And we will try to go back to Mississippi Valley State now. Do we have Coach Comegy on the call?
Yes, I apologize for being late. It was on me. I got caught up in a meeting. I apologize.
No worries, Coach. We will now talk things over with Rick Comegy. Again, this team was defeated by Prairie View A&M. They have a bye week here in Week 9. Coach, if you could review the game with Prairie View and talk about your plans for your bye week.
Well, Coach came in and they did a good job. I mean, I can't take anything away from that number 3 and the way they played. They played a good game, and we had it going there for a little while, but we kind of let it go. I think when it was 13-0, we kind of rode that piece for a little while, and I'm thinking all along that we can break something would happen, that some momentum would go our way, and we'd get back into the game and make a good game of it. It was going real good. They scored on the opening kickoff, which you don't want that to happen, but I figured that that wasn't going to be bothersome as much as if they I felt we could be in the game, and then our defense held them to I think 2 field goals and drives down where they could have scored, and they bent but they didn't break, and so they just got those 6 points there, and I figured, hey, we're going to make a game of this, and we'll be back in this game, but we never really got a chance to we started then we turning over and giving the ball back, and those type of things, and we kind of got a little bit messy. When we got messy, it got ugly. And when it got ugly, they started putting points on the board. And so, even though defense is supposed to step up and stop, and they're all messy situations that happen with offense, but it just got messy, and defense on itself, it, kind of wound down and let them make some real big plays. And, our special teams hurt us, our kickoff team and our punt return team, it really hurt us that day. And if we could have just hung in there in our special team area, I thought we could have made a better game out of it. But they did a good job of blocking, did a good job of moving around, and and they came after us when they needed to, and got some things done. And it was the game just started just edging out to where it got where you was get too far of a lead to catch up. We tried to put some points on the board at the end. I think he started putting some of his second teamers in there though. During that time, I'm just saying the truth, and so we just couldn't catch up, and so the time ran out, and they deserved that win. They played well, and we just kind of handed it over to them. And I don't know if it was from the win from the week before or what exactly happened, but I do know that we were definitely going to be on that today and discussing that situation as a staff and getting with our kids, because I think we got a better football team than what we actually showed there on Saturday. But I take my hat off to Coach and his team and coming in and getting a win, and it was good seeing him at the end, and and having a chance to talk with him, say hello, but we just got to be better, and we got to be more consistent on a weekly basis. And I'm glad we got the bye week. We needed it. We've been going since August 3rd, and we need time to breathe and reflect back on what we're doing here. And we got 3 more games to go, and hopefully, we can grab a few or 3, or all 3 of them, or get 2 of them, or even 1 of them. We're going to be after something, because we're hungry, and we're going to stay hungry. And, I like what I got here. I like these kids, and these kids will play. We just are up and down right now and have some still insecurities, but I think we just got to shore up some things, and I think we're going to be okay.
All right, the floor is now open for Mississippi Valley State head coach Rick Comegy. Coach, oftentimes when you're in a situation where probably appears as if the game is out of hand late, coaches look to see how players finish the game, and you got to the 4th quarter and you were able to hold Prairie View scoreless and also score 19 points in the 4th quarter alone. What did you see out of the guys in terms of not quitting, I guess, at that point?
Well, it's been a rough season for us. We've taken a lot of ups and downs, and I think in order to be successful, you're going to have to go through the whole gambit of the ups and downs. I mean, games like this, you're going to have some highs and success, and, that's how you begin building a program. I think our kids, hung in there. They put some points on the board. Coaches try to make some changes, kind of stayed on the ground game, took away from trying to throw bombs for the, trying to catch up, and just go ahead and back and do what, we're going to try to do to be successful. And, we didn't panic. We kind of just ran the football a little bit more, and then we would change quarterbacks and put Ivy back in the game, and and see how he would play under those conditions. And I thought he performed well. He threw a strike here and strike there, and we allowed us to put some points on the board. So it's a hard process, but it's a process that you got to taste every part of the bitter of defeat. You got to taste every angle of it in order to respect winning. And so I think we're on the right road. I just, didn't hope to get beat by that many points. I think it was really indicative. But, they earned every point they got, and they deserve to win like that because they played well. They played with a lot of confidence, and they played with a lot of they played hard for Coach that day, and they give him a lot of credit, and so we just didn't play as well as I thought we'd play, and we didn't play as fast as I thought we'd play, and I thought we'd come out fast and ready, and but we just didn't.
And the floor is still open for Rick Comegy, head coach at Mississippi Valley State. Let's talk about the productivity out of Julian Stafford. Once again, just another good performance. 8 catches and 116 yards, got in the end zone twice.
Mm-hmm. Julian's an outstanding football player, and he's doing a great job of leadership role for the team. I'm really pleased with his all-around self as an entire player, on and off the field, and I think it keeps up, what he's doing. He'll be recognized as one of the top receivers in the conference. He's one of the better ones that I've had, and got great speed, athleticism, and now we're starting to use him in different areas on the field now to get all the productivity that we can out of him, and so we got a lot of things on our mind as coaches right now, and how we can really make this thing really swing it to make it happen for us, and I think we will. We just got to be patient. I think that we want something to happen so fast, but it doesn't happen like that. We got to pull the time in and work at it that he can see that, as long as he stays consistent and the guys continue to believe in what Julian's doing, and his staff and each one of them, what they're doing, we'll be a fine team. People are double teaming him now, and he's working his way through some kinks and ruffles, but it's going to be good for him, to have to really work his way instead of use his speed all the time, how to sit in the hole and how to find out to be tricky and how to work against double teams. And so he's learning a lot of football too, as he's beginning to make things happen. But there are a lot of other receivers that we need to throw to. And I've been saying all year long that we need to spread the ball around the park a little bit more because he is being locked down a lot by some teams.
Any more questions for Mississippi Valley State head coach Rick Comegy? Coach Comegy, thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to speaking with you next week.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. That's Rick Comegy, head coach at Mississippi Valley State. His team was defeated by Prairie View A&M this past weekend by a final score of 52-19. They have a bye week here in Week 9. Next up on the call, we go to Southern University, and we talk to Dawson Odums. His team also had a bye week in Week 8 this past week. They will travel to Jackson State University for a kick PM that starts at 6 p.m. Good morning, Coach Odums. Are you with us?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us, Coach. If you could give us a recap of your idle week and preview Jackson State.
Well, we just got back to working on the fundamentals of football. We practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, gave the guys the weekend off, and, really just tried to work on us, get better at the things that we do, and, and then we got practice today, and we'll start working on Jackson State and getting ready for that big game this weekend. It's an electrifying environment. We look forward to going up there and playing, and it ought to be a great atmosphere for these young men to play in.
The floor is now open for Dawson Odums, head football coach at Southern University.
Coach, this is James Verrett from CST. How are you doing?
Doing great. How you doing, James?
Doing fine. Can you take me back to 2 years ago when you had the opportunity to lead this team into Jackson, Mississippi?
Well, yes, the situation was a little bit different. It was my first time being head football coach. I was the interim, and we was coming off 0-2, and we took a football team up there and found a way to win a football game. Coach Comegy was the coach then. I respect him a lot. Great guy, does an outstanding job getting his football team prepared. It was a hostile environment, but I really thought that victory there jump-started our program to becoming a successful one today.
Did you think that victory would spawn into tenure that you've had so far at Southern, or you just wanted to get a win for the guys?
Well, I think some of the guys in the program had never beat them. They lost some close games, but I really think that when you win a game of that magnitude, this is probably to date the biggest game of the year on our schedule, and that environment that they have up there is so electrifying. I'm quite sure our fans would travel, and it'd be a great crowd supporting us. But I think it's a great atmosphere to play in, and winning that kind of game sort of jump-started the program.
Coach, when you look at your team, you've had a number of different combinations of starters and players who have contributed. With the week off, do you think that you're going to have a consistent starting lineup from here on out, or is it still an ever-changing lineup depending on who you have and who you don't have?
Well, we suited up this weekend against bye, and I tell you, they gave us a fight. We put some guys out there during the bye week, and I'm telling you, we saw some guys step up, and we saw some guys that's been out get a chance to recover. But we was great for the win this past Saturday. I think the guys did a great job of rallying to the football, and we just look forward to trying to get better. And it's tough when you struggle during the bye week. They keep it close on you during the bye week. It makes it tough for you. But we're grateful to see some guys come back, and get a chance to get back out there on the field. And we just look forward to seeing them getting back to competition this week.
Has it been very difficult to get chemistry since you've had so many changes in your lineup?
Well, I wouldn't say chemistry. We keep it pretty much to addition and subtraction around here. We just next guy got to step up and play. Chemistry, they use too many big formulas in that. So we keep it to addition and subtraction. We try to make sure that our guys are able to block and tackle, and the guys that we put out there, next guys up. I think when you have that mentality, you just roll the next guy in, and the beat goes on.
What position so far, when you say next guy up, has really surprised you, where you may have not been sure if that next guy up could fill the void, but they've been able to fill the void?
Well, offensive line, running back, defensive back, defensive line, pretty much the entire team. The next guys had to get ready. I think the most consistent group that we've had has been probably our linebacking core and our wide receiver core. But other than that, everybody else has had guys down for whatever reason, but the next guy stepped up and produced. And you're talking about guys in our football program that when you started the year, people probably weren't talking about. Guys stepping up and making plays at doing out the game in timely situations. You got Reggie Travis stepping up, Demetrius Carter, Jamal Bolden, even Austin Howard as our quarterback. Running back, Leonard Tillery was our starter going into the spring, started the fall. He was a backup, and he's taking on the role back as a starter. So, guys are saying, Coach, whenever my name is called, we'll be ready. So, I like that about our program.
The floor is still open for Southern University head coach Dawson Odums.
Hey, Coach Ross.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
Okay, one at a time, please. One at a time.
Go ahead, Ross.
Thanks. Coach Ross, I'm off from the Clarion Ledger. I'm not sure if you've had time to scout Jackson State yet, but, with a whole new coaching staff, a new team from last year's championship game, what right now do you kind of sense will be your biggest matchup with heading at Jackson State?
Well, you see some of those same guys, 81, I think that's Daniels. You look at 33, I remember him from last year, 4 out of the 5 offensive linemen. I think they had a chance to play some last year. And, a very good wide receiving core. Quarterback, I think, he had a chance to play some. And you look at their defense, some of the same guys that we played against a year ago. So, I'm quite sure they're looking to try to get on the right track, and they think they got a pretty good football team. The ball hasn't bounced their way. It's always been an exciting game. You can throw records out the window. You got to get ready to go play. This is a old backyard brawl that we're excited to play in.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Coach, it's Lefty. Can you just talk about how you
spent the weekend while the players were off? Did you go recruiting? Did you watch some other football games? How did you spend the weekend?
Well, I did watch some football. I really tried to get ahead on some of the stuff in the office, catch up, prepare this football team coming out of the bye week to the best of our ability. And, I got a chance to watch some college football on Saturday and watched a little bit of pro football on Sunday. And, it's just amazing that, some of the same mistakes that you make cost teams on Saturday as well. So, I tell people all the time, you just never know what their girlfriend said to them right before kickoff, or, you don't know what family member upsetting them. We dealing with 17 to 22-year-old young man, and I'm watching game film, and I'm like, why would he do that? And, but I say the same thing on Saturday about my guys. So you just never know. What you try to do is make sure that their minds is clear so that they can focus on the task in front of them and perform to the best of their ability. But I did go to the circus list because one of my coaches were performing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Which one, and what did he perform?
Laura Atkinson was he was the entertainment of the day. I tell you, I want to look over at my daughter and say, that's our coach over there, and he did an outstanding job. We look forward to supporting him again next year.
Was he like on the trapeze, or what was he doing?
Well, he wasn't on the trapeze. He was the little guy running around, energizing the crowd.
He's got a lot of energy, that's for sure.
He's got a lot of energy.
Do we have any more questions for Dawson Odums, head football coach at Southern University?
Coach Odums, this is Chris Jones. How you doing?
Doing great, Chris. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Coach, how good is it for your team to put a little distance in between that last win at Alabama A&M with the fashion that you guys won last Saturday, kind of reset their buttons and get ready for a rivalry game against Jackson State?
Chris, I really think it's great for them to have some rest. 7 games in a row. We started camp back in August, and they've been going extremely hard. You take a look at where the football team is, get some other guys that were out a chance to heal and come back. And, we're excited about the football team that we'll have going down the stretch. Now, we got to get them to play a little bit better and get them to be a little bit more focused. But I really like the guys that we have. I like where they are from a mindset standpoint. And if we can just continue to get better every day, I like our chances going down the stretch.
Coach, can you talk about defending the run and shoot? Is it similar to trying to defend the pistol offense?
You see some similarities, and I think it's some comparison there. They do get in the pistol a little bit, but I think it's precise passing. Do what you do. Don't reinvent the wheel. Get better at your execution and timing. And they have some guys that if they get the ball to them, they can make some explosive plays. So I really think that when you deal with those offenses, it's all about getting a offense out of rhythm. I think it's a rhythm offense, and if you allow them to get their rhythm, they're going to be able to produce at a high level. And that's what we're working on as a defensive staff, is try to get our guys in position to make sure that we don't allow them to get that rhythm.
Any more questions for Dawson Odums? Coach, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to talking with you next week.
Always a pleasure. Have a blessed day.
Thanks a lot. That's Dawson Odums, head coach at Southern University. They had a bye week in Week 8. They will travel to Jackson, Mississippi to take on Jackson State, and the kickoff is set for 6 p.m. Next up on the call, we go to Texas Southern University. This team was defeated by Alcorn State. They will host Arkansas at Pine Bluff this coming Saturday. Kick is set for 2 p.m. Good morning, Coach Asbury.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could recap the game with Alcorn and preview Arkansas Pine Bluff.
We went to a hostile environment. I thought that
our kids, we didn't play well the first half. We dug ourselves a hole, and we tried to get out of it the second half. We're going to move forward. I mean, it's a game that we felt we were better than what we performed. We did not show it in the first half. The second half, we tried to come out and do a little bit better, and we're going to move forward and prepare for Arkansas Pine Bluff. They scored 39 points on Grambling, and have not had an opportunity to look at the film yet, but the coaches are down there breaking it down now. But anytime you can score 39 points, you're doing something right.
All right, the floor is open for Texas Southern head coach Darrell Asbury.
Hey, Coach Asbury, I see Morrell at the Pine Bluff commercial. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm all right. So you guys started 4-0 on the season, and right now it looks like you guys are 2-2 in the SWAC. What challenges have you seen on SWAC play this year?
Well, it's some teams that have beaten us. At Alcorn and Alabama State. They're good football teams, and right now we're sitting 3-2 in conference play.
Yes.
But when you go back and look at the film, it's not so much of what they're doing to us as what we're not doing at Texas Southern. I feel very confident in our football team. We're still a good football team, and we're going to make some adjustments, and we'll see where this thing ends up.
Right. It seems like you've gone with another quarterback as of late, the Christopher guy or Christoph guy. You started with Kazi at the start of the year. Can you tell me about your quarterback situation and what's happened with Kazi that led you to go with Christoph?
Young man, Jay Christoph. Kazi's he was banged up early in the year. We're trying to get him back healthy. We feel very strongly that he will be back this weekend, coming up for homecoming. So we went with Jamal Smalls and Jay Christoph, which, we feel very confident with those two guys. It's a blessing to be able to grab back and to stick your hand back and grab something. Because a lot of times, on this level, you don't have but maybe one or two quarterbacks, and we feel good with all three of our quarterbacks.
Right. For your homecoming, I guess, how angry are you guys going to come out?
I don't think it's going to be anything about anger. I think it's just want to come out and give a good performance against a tough Pine Bluff football team. Coach has done a great job with his program. We've watched him throughout the year, but, I don't expect Arkansas Pine Bluff to come down here and just lay down. I expect them to come in with the mindset that they're going to spoil our homecoming, and we just need to be disciplined and do the little things to get us over the edge. And I think for us right now, we just need to get out to a fast start. If you notice, every game we've won, we've gotten out to a fast start. And lately we've been just getting out to slow starts lately.
Right.